Month by month, week by week, they are vanishing. The survivors of the Holocaust who can tell the story firsthand. The story of how 6 million Jews and 5 million others were murdered by Nazis.
This week, Jews worldwide mark Yom HaShoah, that's Holocaust Remembrance Day, a time to reflect on one of the most traumatic moments in human history. But with each passing day, more survivors are lost. And with them, those personal firsthand accounts of exactly what happened to them, to their relatives who died, and to their communities wiped away. Their stories are disappearing at a time when attacks against Jews are increasing rapidly. Just last month, the Anti-Defamation League reported anti-Semitic incidents had reached an all-time high.
Incidents like vandalism, harassment, assault, even murder. Many say at a time like this, keeping Holocaust stories and survival alive matters more than ever. But how do you do that when those who tell those stories are disappearing, unfortunately? Joining us now, Ari Lebendz. He's the director of the Gross Center for Holocaust and Genocide Studies at Ramapo College of New Jersey. It's really nice to have you with us for this. By some estimates, I think there are only 50,000 Holocaust survivors still living in America. Is that about right? What kind of efforts are underway to keep the stories alive?
Hi, thank you for having me. It's a serious question and a serious problem. So many of us learned about the Holocaust by speaking firsthand with survivors. For people like me who grew up in the Jewish community, I was surrounded by survivors my entire life. We had an intimate and natural connection. Learning about the Holocaust came to us almost automatically. And that's changing right now. The Holocaust survivors who remain are aging and ill, and that's something we have to accept. I think that there's a sense that we want children to learn the same lessons from history as we did in the same way. And I think we have to let go of that. Right? We have to meet the children in the world that they are living in. So there are people making, for instance, exciting holograms of survivors that mimic the relationship that we had, but those aren't real people. I'm far more excited about programs that really confront a world of post-memory.
So, you know, the language in the Jewish community is we say, never forget, never again. So this never occurs again. And look at some of the figures. I want to ask you about Holocaust education. We'll put up for people who are with us right now some of the data. This is 18 U.S. states right now that require Holocaust and genocide education in schools. I want to get your sense of those numbers because the polling is so striking how few Americans under the age of, 18 or 25 have any understanding or awareness even of the Holocaust.
It's a challenge because on the one hand, so many states either mandate or suggest Holocaust education. I'm lucky to teach in New Jersey, which had the first mandate, which produces an excellent curriculum, which we make available to anyone in the world, and to work at Ramapo College, where they are investing in my center, in the Gross Center for Holocaust and Genocide Studies. The question is how we teach it. And so one of the ways that we respond to this disparity between, on the one hand, insisting that people learn it, on the other hand, that students may not be learning enough or what we want, is we run semesterly teacher training programs so that teachers who are teaching in high schools who aren't necessarily experts can get trained up, can gain new insights, can keep current with methodologies and information. But it's scary.
We mentioned the ADL statistics earlier about anti-Semitic incidents happening. Do you see a connection between that surge and a lack of education?
I don't think there's a direct surge, a direct relationship. If you know, speaking sort of off the cuff, if you need the Holocaust as an example not to be an anti-Semite, you have a bigger problem. We're not dealing with the Holocaust in America, but we are dealing with what seems to be a rise in anti-Semitism. And I'm most concerned for the violence that our Haredi, our ultra-Orthodox siblings are facing. And I'm most concerned with how this anti-Semitism entwines with other forms of rising bigotries in this country. I think only when we think of it complexly, but also individually, can we make a change.
And then very quickly, before we let you go on this topic, it really just feels like this is not alone. There are a lot of other communities that are under attack, and that's why this stuff matters.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And if the Holocaust can serve as a symbol of what can go wrong, great. But I think we need to remember that we can't win the future by fighting the battles of the past. We need to confront the very problems we're seeing today.
Ari Lebendz, we're so grateful for you spending some time with us today. Thank you so much.
Really appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
Thanks for watching our YouTube channel. Follow today's top stories and breaking news by downloading the NBC News app.